Good morning, everybody. How we doing today? Currently in Currituck County. Beautiful day to start off. It's 8 a.m. Just left my house about 20 minutes ago. Just came off Poplar Branch Road right here in Grandy, North Carolina. Not a whole lot to talk about in Currituck as far as businesses and stuff. They did just put this Royal Farms over here. That's new to us here in North Carolina. Been in a couple times myself. It's all right. To be expected with a gas station biscuit. Chances are you're going to be passing through here if you come to the Outer Banks. And about the only thing to do out here is on my left, and that is Flipper's Arcade. It is a gas station, but also an arcade. And on a Saturday here in Currituck, that's the place to be. Like I said, we don't have much. Just a couple random things. Bank. Got this Subway here that I don't think anybody ever goes to. Mel's Diner on the right. They've been around for a long time. Just the Ace Hardware, but I don't really ever catch myself going to Ace Hardware because they tend to be a little more expensive. But since Lowe's and Home Depot is on the Outer Banks, sometimes if I need a little quick something, I might end up at Ace, only because it's going to cost the same gas money to go to the beach and get the same item. It's probably the largest business on the beach right here, or on the Currituck side, is Weeping Radish. I've never been in there myself, so I can't really tell you too much about it. I just know that it's a very large building. I think I've heard of people saying they go in there, but I've never been myself. So, I'm not going to give you too much information on that other than it's there. We got the Cotton Gin up here on the left. Pretty popular spot. But they had a fire 2 years ago, maybe a little more, 3 years ago. And have since recovered, back in the swing of things. A lot of times you can ride by and catch people hang gliding or doing some kind of sport in the air right over the empty fields of Currituck. Speaking of burning down, the Outer Banks just had a crazy fire the other day. The Manio Furniture Warehouse, which is in Mans Harbor, which is just a little past Manio. You would have to take another bridge to get to Mans Harbor, but it's the next town over from Manio. Either way, Manio Furniture, where they keep their warehouse and all their shipments and things, it burned down the other day. Fully engulfed. I think it might have touched a little bit of surrounding things. Nobody got hurt, so that's awesome. But all at the same time, there was a gas leak going on at Goombay's restaurant, or was it Chili Peppers? Don't quote me on that. And all at the same time, there was about a 3 to 4 car pileup in Kitty Hawk. Now, I know this is small town talk here. You know we're living in a small town if that's the biggest report that we've seen in a while. But it just so happened to be that the fire, the wreck, and the gas leak were all going on at the exact same time. Very countryside here in Currituck, which is why I choose to be on this side, because it's nice over here. Get a little space. If you don't want to see or deal with your fellow human being for the day, you could. Whereas the Outer Banks is kind of tight. You don't really get much space. Maybe like, 2 persons worth of walking space between each house. A lot of old abandoned houses out here. A lot of just old school houses. Headed. And if I take a left or right on this highway, there's neighborhoods that run across beside the entire highway. It runs real deep, and of course, you got the sound on both sides. So we're still surrounded by water. You just don't ever see it unless you live on one side of the highway or the other. We are currently in Jarvisburg, in Currituck. If I had to pick a place to live in Currituck, it would be this spot right here, in Jarvisburg. Puts you at about 10 to 15 minutes from the Outer Banks and 10 minutes from any grocery stores and basic living. I live a couple towns up, so my drive is a little more extended than that. There's really no big highlight here in Currituck. There is the Grave Digger, and I could do a video on that if anybody's interested. Local monster truck owned by Dennis Anderson. He also owns the biggest thing there is to do for entertainment out here. He hosts mud bogs and things like that, where you can go out there and see the monster trucks in action. He holds all kinds of little contests, with souped up trucks and things of that nature. Jumping hills, getting muddy, all that good stuff. That's what we do here in the South. We like to drink some Budweiser and go watch trucks play in the mud. Just kidding. We're not all redneck out here, especially over here on the Outer Banks. Lots of surfer boys. If you find yourself at a grocery store in Currituck or any of the other businesses, chances are you're gonna see dude was coming over on the road on me, having to beep at him. I don't know if the camera caught that, but he was like kind of almost halfway in my lane while I merged over anyway. As I was saying, plenty of surfer boys, plenty of, you know, just common individuals. We're not all a bunch of shotguns slinging, camouflage wearing, animal hunting, whatever your depiction of people who live down south is. But there is plenty of those. That's what I was getting at. That if you find yourself in a store somewhere in Currituck, you're probably gonna see a little camouflage, bring the beards out, here for the facial hair. Just kidding. Getting a little off track about what this channel's about here. Just saying, you might see the countryside of things if you end up in an establishment in Currituck. Which chances are likely you probably need gas or something on the way there. And that's all Currituck really is. Gas, convenience stores, a couple places to eat. Nothing I would really... one spot over there is by the courthouse, Currituck County Courthouse. It's called Pass the Salt Cafe. I've been there one time, and me and my wife, my fiance, soon to be wife, we're very excited only because there's really nothing else as far as like food recommendations in Currituck. Most things are served out of a gas station. Anything else that actually has a storefront is not that great, and I don't mind it. It forces me to have to cook my own meals most of the time. But every now and then there is a pizza place over there, a little local pizza spot called Wise Guys, and I think they're pretty cool. Only because they name all their pizzas after godfathers and mob characters and things like that, so it gives a cool little theme to their restaurant. Pretty good pizza. We've now entered the 45-mile-an-hour zone. This is the zone that you hit right before you hit the Wright Memorial Bridge to go to the Outer Banks. We got Simply Southern Kitchen on my left. I've never been there. Another place that I can't tell you if it's great or not. I haven't heard too much about it. They've been around for a little bit. You got a big Harley Davidson shop coming up right here on the left. It's pretty popular. They do pretty big events because we host Bike Week here on the Outer Banks. It's really the only time I see it get really busy over there. They do all kinds of performances and shows and contests and things surrounding Bike Week. And that's usually sometime in April. They used to do a fall Bike Week, but it slowed down tremendously and they don't host that anymore. I think people still come for it a little bit, but it's not a thing anymore like it used to be. And that's another thing about Bike Week, is that it is slowed down in general, both events. The springtime version of it is not as busy as it used to be as well. It used to be like pretty crazy. It used to be, you know, half the vehicles that were out here were bikes. So now when Bike Week comes, it's almost like shameful, like we don't even realize that it's Bike Week because you don't really hear the bikes coming out here anymore. Whereas in other places in the United States, I know that Bike Week is a pretty big deal. Alright, just another minute from the bridge here. As I stated in one of my other Currituck videos, they normally always have somebody pulled over in the morning time and when I come through here after work. And here's the case. Johnny Law got him one this morning. Be careful when you come through this 45 zone. Don't go any more than, I would say, like 52. It looks like he's done with his business with whatever car that was, which means, yeah, he just turned his lights off, so he is available to go get the next one. And here's the state trooper right here. Like I said, it's a shark tank through this area. Got what used to be headlights over here. If anybody knows what headlights is, it was a strip club, and they kind of went out during COVID. They were around forever. Always heard about headlights. I don't know why I'm talking about a strip club this morning, but more or less to make fun of it because it was probably one of the raunchiest, probably one of the worst strip clubs, if you are into that kind of thing, that you would ever go to. Just a bunch of local scallywags thinking they were hot business, and hate to tell you, but they were not. Alright, we're going to stop talking about a strip club, and we're going to go back to talking about the beauty of the Outer Banks, which is what's in front of me right now. We got the sun glimmering over the water, Wright Memorial Bridge, headed Kitty Hawk, I'm running late to work, but I don't care. It is what it is. There's a worker shortage in the United States, and you know, being late to work isn't that big of a deal anymore like it used to be, in my opinion, at least not at my workplace, because they're just thankful that they have employees. So, and I never extended late. When I say I'm late to work, we're talking 10 minutes, you know, max, sometimes 15. In the summertime, there's no telling. I'll get there when I get there. But currently, I'm usually always 10 to 15 minutes late, only because I can't gauge how traffic's going to be. I can't gauge how many red lights I'm going to run into. Can't gauge if there's going to be a wreck. So my work understands it. It's another reason I keep going to this workplace, because I got a pretty cool workplace. Great ownership, great staff. So I'm going to keep going until all that changes, or until I go back to being an entrepreneur and doing my own thing, which I am working on heavily. I myself have actually owned a couple businesses out here on the Outer Banks. I don't anymore. Save that topic for another time. Pretty day this morning. It is cold. It did go back to being cold, and now we are in March. And normally March is the ugliest time of the year out here. For the most part, it tends to be gray and nasty. But today is March 1st, and it's not looking too shabby out here today. Alright, coming off that bridge, like I've done many a times before. If you can't get enough of Wright Memorial Bridge, I got plenty of other videos on it out of the 250 videos that I've done. It's kind of amazed myself that I've taken that many videos in the past couple years and kept up with putting them on YouTube. Don't ask me how I'm keeping up with it, because I don't know myself. Full-time job and a family that wants my attention as well. But as with anything in life, you got to figure out a way to streamline anything that has a long process to it. But that is the reason why a lot of times you're catching yesterday's footage, because I'll go home, put it straight to the upload, and it usually takes overnight to get it uploaded. I also know that my video posting is pretty random. I don't have a set time that I put these videos up, so you'll just have to catch it when you catch it. Just the way my life is, my schedule doesn't adhere to be able to do anything like that. Alright guys, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover today. Just wanted you guys check out CURRITUCK a little bit, talk about some things. Sorry I went on the stripper topic a little too heavy. I don't know why. Just passing by it. Forgot about it for a little while, but then I saw the empty sign and just got reminded of it. If you want to turn right here at this light, this is where Walmart is, Home Depot, Harris Teeter. But another piece of advice, if you're coming into town on a Saturday, that Walmart gets really packed, because it's the first stop when you get to the Outer Banks to be able to buy stuff for the week, the beach time. It's got, obviously, Walmart, it's got everything that you would need for yourself to be on the Outer Banks. There is another option or two these days. Now they have Target, but I would recommend just pre-buying all that stuff before you come, except for groceries. That way you don't have to deal with that. That way you can just get out here and just start enjoying your vacation. You don't want to start it off with a headache, do you? And when I tell you it gets busy, it's like on crack. Like, the lines can get, you know, well past the aisles. it's almost like Black Friday in there on a Saturday. So be mindful of that. Just thinking of what I would do, knowing what I know, and coming out here, and I could hopefully be saving you guys some potential headache of having to deal with those big crowds as soon as you get into town. That's all I got for this video. Got a pretty open road. Narrated Kitty Hawk more times than I can count, but I'm sure I'll do it again. Thanks for riding, thanks for subscribing, thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all. Catch you on the next one.